Hello, my name is Roger Lear and I'm a funding officer at the Office for Students. This presentation gives a guide on how to obtain and submit your HESES return. The same process applies to providers required to complete the HESEF return. Later in this video, you will also hear from my colleague Sinead Forward, a senior analyst at the OFS, who will give us a live demonstration of using the portal. In this video, we assume a basic knowledge of either the Higher Education Students Early Statistics or HESES survey, or the Higher Education Students Forecast or HESEF survey. This presentation is part of a series of videos and we recommend that you watch the others, particularly those dealing with data verification, for a full picture of the process. This session will cover using the portal for HESES and HESEF. We'll look at gaining access to the correct portal areas, the timeline for workbook submission, downloading the workbook, completing it, and then uploading the workbook, the results package, and the use of the portal after the submission deadline. You should know which survey you've been asked to complete and have consulted the relevant guidance for the survey in question. Most viewers of this video are probably required to submit the HESES survey, and its guidance can be found on the OFS website at www.officeforstudents.org.uk/HESES, that's HESES. For those required to submit HESEF, please see www.officeforstudents.org.uk/HESEF, that's HESF. Let's start by considering the OFS portal. The OFS portal is a secure way of transferring data between providers and ourselves. We use the portal to distribute and collect the HESES and HESEF surveys. The portal can be accessed at https://extranet.officeforstudents.org.uk/data. It's important that you maintain the HTTPS prefix at the start of the URL in order to access the portal securely. Each survey that we collect is assigned to what we refer to as an area on the portal, and this is used for workbook downloads and submissions. The area names on the portal change from year to year, but on these slides, XX represents the year in question. So again, on these slides you may see HESES XX_FEC for further education and sixth form colleges and academies, or you may see HESES XX_OTH for other types of providers. So in the year that I'm recording this, on the portal itself, for HESES 20, you would see either HESES 20_FEC or HESES 20_OTH, and so on, changing year by year. If you have been asked to complete HESEF instead of HESES, you will see a similar scheme is used for the name of the relevant area. Staff at each provider that will be downloading from or uploading to the portal will need access to the relevant survey area. At each provider, user administrators grant access to the correct area using the OFS portal user administrator site. This can be found at https://extranet.officeforstudents.org.uk/users, that's USERS, users plural. Again, please remember the HTTPS prefix. If you don't know who your user administrator is, you can find out. If you don't yet have a portal user account, user administrators at each provider can set one up for you. You can find out who they are by emailing portal@officeforstudents.org.uk. If you do already have a portal account, you can find out who the portal administrators are using the process described on the next slide. If you are a portal user but do not know who your user administrators are, this is how to find their identity. First, log into the portal as normal. Once logged in, you will see the OFS logo with a yellow banner beneath it. Click on My Account to the right of the banner. You'll then be taken to the Manage Account screen. On the Manage Account screen, click on Activate an Access Key. Note that this is just to find out who your user administrators are. HESES and HESEF surveys don't actually require an access key. You will then be taken to the Activate Key screen. Here, under the text Access Key, you can ignore the 4 input boxes and instead look at the list of names and email addresses underneath. You can then use this to contact your user administrators and to ask for access to the relevant survey area. Let's look at the timeline. The survey areas on the portal will be made available in mid-October. You will be contacted when this happens, at which point your portal user administrator can grant you access. In late October, we will release the workbooks on the portal so that they can be downloaded and you can start work on them. The census date for further education and sixth form colleges and academies is the 1st of November. For other providers, it's the 1st of December. As noted elsewhere in this playlist, for HESES, the submission deadline dates vary according to the type of provider concerned. The precise dates vary with the calendar from year to year, but as a guide, for further education and sixth form colleges and academies, the submission deadline will be towards the middle of November. For all other providers completing the HESES survey, the submission deadline will be a few weeks later in early to mid-December. The precise dates will be featured prominently in correspondence on our website, and if you're viewing this on YouTube, in the notes below this video. If you are completing the HESEF survey, then in order to receive funding in the spring grant announcement, you will need to submit your workbook by the submission deadline, which is the same as for the HESES Other Providers category. Again, this will be featured prominently in numerous places. My colleague Sinead Forward will now do a short demonstration of logging in and downloading the blank workbook. Note that she is using the string XX as a placeholder for a number representing the year of the surveys. So for example, for 2020-21, for further education and sixth form colleges and academies, HESES XX _ FEC becomes HESES 20 _ FEC. For all other providers, HESES XX _ OTH becomes HESES 20 _ OTH, and so on.
Once you have been granted access to the survey area, you can download the workbook to start completing the survey. Log in to your portal account, then navigate to the survey area. This will either be HESES XX Oth, HESES XX FEC or HESEF XX, depending on which survey you are completing and what type of provider you are. For the purpose of this demo, XX denotes the year of the survey. Click on the survey area. There will be some text with important information about the survey you are completing on this page. Please ensure that you read this text periodically as it will be updated throughout the process. To download your survey workbook, click on the Download button. Your workbook will be contained within a zip file. Save the zip file to your device and extract the workbook from it. The blank workbook will be on the portal throughout the process, so you can download this blank workbook as many times as you like.
After decompressing the zip file, you can open your workbook. Ensure that Enable Editing is activated so that you're able to complete the survey. You'll need to do this if you see the yellow bar at the top of the Excel window containing those words. Most cells in the workbooks are formatted as numeric. Please ensure that you only enter numbers in these cells, otherwise you may not be able to submit the workbook successfully. We recommend that you do not copy and paste values into the workbook, as this can cause issues with the cell formatting. However, if you do need to do this, please make sure that you use the Paste Values option when right-clicking on the cell you wish to paste into. The workbook is password protected to ensure that the data submitted is accurate and is only entered into the relevant cells. Some cells are locked within the workbook. These are shaded blue or grey. You will not be able to edit these, nor do you need to. Worksheets contain information critical to the accurate loading of the data It's essential that this is preserved. Therefore, it's important that you do not attempt to unprotect the workbook. If we find that you have unprotected the workbook, we will not accept the workbook as a valid submission. Please complete the survey workbook using the necessary information from your records and the various resources available on our website at www.officeforstudents.org.uk/HESES, that's HESES. Your main references are likely to be the Completing the HESES workbook document, which has detailed instructions on how to fill in each table of the HESES workbook, and the HESES guidance document, which contains all the definitions used in HESES. If you have been asked to complete HESEF instead of HESES, please refer to the corresponding HESEF guidance document. Before submitting your workbook, check the information sheet. If the box labelled Validation Check lists any tables in red text, you will need to review the validation checks on those tables and fix the errors. You must ensure that the box labelled Validation Check is displaying the words No Validation Errors in green text, otherwise we will not accept your submission as valid. You can submit your workbook as often as you wish, including at any time before the census date, but please note that any workbooks submitted before that date are treated as invalid and will be ignored. Please submit again after the census date for the workbook to be valid. Sinead will now demonstrate the uploading of the workbook and how it is processed.
Once you have reviewed the checks on the Information tab of your workbook to make sure it is valid, you can then submit it to the portal. Log on to the OFS portal and navigate to your survey area. Click the Upload button, which is located just underneath the Download button. On the next screen, you will need to locate your workbook on your device by clicking Choose File. Then selecting the file and clicking Open. The file name will then appear next to the Choose File button. You can then click Upload. As the OFS portal can only process one workbook at a time, you will be put into a submission queue and the survey area will appear on your screen. There will be a new box under the information text informing you that your file has been submitted and is waiting to be processed. This should take no longer than a few minutes, depending on how busy the portal is at the time. You can leave the page and return later on. You will not be taken out of the queue. Please be aware that the portal will be busier closer to the survey deadline, so the queuing time will be longer. Once you have reached the front of the queue, the status box will change, informing you that your file is being processed. Your workbook is now being submitted. This will take no longer than a couple of minutes. Once your workbook has finished processing, the status box will change to a green Successfully Completed message. This means that you have submitted a valid workbook for the survey. Even though you have now completed your submission, there are a couple of additional areas that you should review. If you scroll down on the survey area page, you will see a History of Submissions heading. A box will appear for every upload you make to the portal, with details of the upload. You should check that the outcome shows as a success and the comment shows that the workbook was processed successfully.
After a successful upload, a new field will appear on your screen below the Download and Upload fields called Result. Click on this to download what is referred to as the results package. Note that before the submission deadline, only the user that submitted the workbook can download the corresponding results package from the portal, so you may want to consider saving this to a location where other colleagues can access it if needed. The results package is a zip file that contains your processed workbook. This processed workbook is a recreation of the one that you uploaded, and in it, on the information sheet, is an updated submission number and the date of the submission. These are used to identify this version of the workbook during the data verification phase and ultimately in signing off your data. After uploading, the portal performs a number of checks on your workbook, and if any of these fails, an extra sheet is inserted into the workbook in the results package. This is labelled as Validation and lists the errors found by these checks. Please check these make suitable amendments to the workbook and then upload it. If you do need to make any amendments to your survey, you should edit a copy of this workbook rather than the one that you uploaded. You can then submit this to the portal once you have made the amendments. After the submission deadline, the portal process is slightly different in that there won't be a results package. Instead, you can always get the latest process workbook by clicking on the download field as shown in this screenshot. Remember, this shows what you will see after the submission deadline, i.e. the results package field is no longer present. If you find that you need to resubmit your workbook after the submission deadline has passed, please contact your data verifier who will liaise with you to arrange this. Once your revised workbook has been processed, your data verifier will notify you when it can be downloaded from this screen on the portal. In this video, we have already referenced several information resources on our website, but it's worth summarising them here. For HESES, refer to these documents at www.officeforstudents.org.uk/HESES, that's HESES. Completing the HESES workbook document and the HESES guidance document. For HESEF, see www.officeforstudents.org.uk/HESEF, that's HESF. And there you can find the HESEF guidance document. You can also contact the following inboxes for further assistance. For local portal queries, remember that in the first instance your local user administrator may be able to assist you. For more general portal queries, please contact portal@officeforstudents.org.uk. For HESES queries, write to HESES, HESES @officeforstudents.org.uk. And for HESEF queries, please write to recurrent grant, all one word, @officeforstudents.org.uk. Thank you for watching and listening. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please contact us at HESES@officeforstudents.org.uk. That's HESES @officeforstudents, all as one word, .org.uk. One of our team members will be happy to help. Please keep watching for more videos and further information.